It's no secret that behind the red carpet glitz and glam and social media posturing, Hollywood is a shady place. But what might be surprising is just how many of these shady actions happen right under our very noses, without us being any wiser. Take Milli Vanilli, who sold over 10 million albums, and even earned a Grammy Award before their scam of lip-syncing to other people's songs was brought to light. Even Jennifer Lopez has been exposed for passing other people's songs off as her own, with hits like Get Right and Love Don't Cost a Thing sung by singers whose name we don't even remember, while J-Lo gets all the credit. However, Milli Vanilli and J-Lo aren't alone in this. Over the years, artists like Nicki Minaj, Britney Spears, and even King of Pop Michael Jackson have all been accused of stealing other people's vocals and releasing them as their own. And all it takes to judge whether it's true or not is to listen to the songs with your own ears. In this list, we'll be looking at 14 songs which the main artist actually doesn't sing entirely. And the results may surprise you. Stay tuned to find out more. Number 1. David Guetta, Hey Mama, featuring Nicki Minaj and Afrojack. Years after Nicki Minaj rose to fame being both a rap and pop superstar, she would have a controversy surrounding her David Guetta and Afrojack collaboration, Hey Mama. Though in this case, no one could say it was her fault. In 2015, Guetta released Hey Mama as the fourth single from his album Listen, with Nicki featured as a rapper and Afrojack lending his production skills. Unfortunately, one person was left out of the features list, a young B Brexa, who will go on to have hits like Me, Myself, and I and Meant to Be. I really wanted to be featured on it because I've been signed and dropped, so it's been hard, confessed Brexa in a Billboard interview. What ended up happening was that it looked like a lot of names in the title, so they wanted to keep as many low features as possible, she said. Going on to admit, it's tough hearing your voice on a chorus and knowing that people think it's another artist. Luckily for Brexa, her publicity campaign seemed to pay off because her name was added back onto the features list and album artwork shortly after her complaints, although sadly for her she was too late to appear in the music video. Number 2. Eminem The Monster featuring Rihanna. Years before this, Brexa had another uncredited vocal on yet another hit, Eminem's The Monster. After being dropped for the first time, Brexa wrote Monster Under My Bed, an entire song with choruses and verses, and immediately thought of Eminem. Upon hearing it a year later, Eminem immediately stripped the song's verses for his own raps and sent the song onto Rihanna to perform the lead vocals, while leaving Rex's background vocals intact, either because she couldn't hit the notes or because she couldn't be bothered to record them. Rihanna left Rex's vocals as is, and they can still be heard on the released version of the song today. Number 3. Michael Jackson, Monster, Keep Your Head Up, and Breaking News. Michael Jackson's first posthumous album, Michael, was a bestseller, but as with his music and life, MJ's music from beyond the grave proved controversial for some. Specifically under fire were tracks from the Castillo sessions, which included the album's cuts Monster, Keep Your Head Up, and Breaking News. These songs were allegedly written by Jackson, however not long after their release, multiple sources stated that the vocals on the songs were not Jackson's, including family members like Catherine and LaToya. Controversy of the tracks was so intense that Castillo appeared on Oprah to defend his name, with longtime Jackson producer Teddy Riley stating that the vocals were Jackson's under a layer of melodyne. The tracks will later become a part of a lawsuit from a disgruntled fan who had bought the album. The lawsuit has been going on since 2014, and while there were claims last year that Sony had admitted in courts that the songs were not sung by Jackson, that was denied, and little more has been heard of the lawsuit since. This may be one we'll never know the answer to. Number 4. Selena Gomez, Same Old Love. The second single from Selena Gomez's revival, Same Old Love, was a smash, but maybe not due to Selena's vocal prowess. The song was written by Charli XCX, and her early demo vocals appear all over the final version of the song, particularly in the chorus. Interestingly, before the song was released by Selena, it was at one point in consideration for Rihanna's Anti album. We wonder if she would have bothered recording background vocals for Same Old Love, or if we would have ended up with another The Monster situation. Number 5. will.i.am Scream and Shout featuring Britney Spears. will.i.am and Britney Spears' collaborative single Scream and Shout was all over the airwaves back in 2012. But what most people don't realize is that the song was actually subject to a large-scale legal battle enacted by English singer TLC. She was originally given the Scream and Shout beat to write over and crafted a song alongside Jean Baptiste entitled I Don't Give a Fuck. The track was ready to be released on her debut album, The Female Boss, but the song's producer Lazy J didn't approve of her version, and instead passed the beat on to Will. Instead of coming up with his own lyrics, Will used TLC's without permission, and failed to credit her as a writer on the track, even maintaining some of her vocals on the final version of the song. TLC ultimately won her lawsuit and gained 10% of the song's proceeds. Fans finally figured out why Britney was rapping in an English accent throughout the song.
When you hear this in the club, you gotta turn the shit up.
Number 6. Britney Spears' Alien. Britney Spears has been subject to multiple conspiracy theories over the years. While all don't ring entirely true, it is possible that Britney's voice at very least has been replaced by a sound-alike. Back in 2013, the internet exploded with a rumor that Britney's new album, Britney Jean, was sung entirely by Maya Marie, the background singer who had previously worked on Circus and Femme Fatale. Marie's own father, Murray Langston, added fuel to the fire when he confirmed to Star that my daughter sings for Britney Spears. Britney doesn't know whose voice is on her album and it doesn't even interest her. While Britney's team of course denied the rumors, demo versions of Alien and Passenger which leaked have a strong resemblance to Maya's vocals, and she ended up being credited on 5 songs from the album. Number 7. Britney Spears' Quicksand and He About to Lose Me. While the jury is still out on whether Britney's been in the studio at all in these past 5 years, it's pretty clear that she hasn't been entirely present for 2 of her earlier songs. Quicksand is a song written by Lady Gaga that appears as a bonus track on Britney's Circus album. And while Britney features in the verses, there's barely a word sung by her in the chorus, which is full of Gaga vocals. A few years later, He About to Lose Me would appear as a bonus track in Britney's next album, Femme Fatale, again with vocals that sound suspiciously un-Britney-like. Quick look at the writing credits will tell you that this one was handled by demo singer Ina Rolson, who would go again to have another uncredited hit with Calvin Harris and Disciples' collaboration How Deep Is Your Love years later. Number 8. TLC No Scrubs. Although it's now well known as one of their biggest hits, No Scrub was a risk when TLC first considered releasing it in 1999. For one thing, the song was the first time that Chili had taken on lead vocals for any TLC single, most of which were generally handled by T-Boz. For another, the song lacked a rap by Left Eye, which had become an integral part of the group's success. To get around this, T-Boz lip-synced a bunch of Chili lines in the music video, while Left Eye for her part recorded a new rap for the single release of the song, while also lip-syncing to the background vocals from Deborah Killings, Candy Burrs, and Tiny Harris. Killings had started as a background vocalist in the group when Left Eye had entered rehab. Her presence on some of the group's biggest hits will later be a source of friction for Left Eye, who was upset about being replaced. Number 9. The Pussycat Dolls' Don't Ya. At this point, it's pretty common knowledge that out of all the 6 original members of the Pussycat Dolls, only Nicole Scherzinger got a say in what songs they would record and who would get each part. As such, it made sense that Nicole was the girl who got the most solo time in the group, with the other girls commonly lip-syncing to her parts, or in the case of Wait a Minute, lip-syncing over vocals from Carrie Hilson, who wasn't even a part of the group. What's less known is the fact that the group's first breakout hit, Don't Ya, was already released as a single by an unknown artist only months before the girls made it their own, Tori Alamaze, who recorded the song with CeeLo Green and released it as a single in November of 2004. However, just months later, she decided to leave her record label, even while the song was already climbing the charts. Not long after, the label began shopping around the song to other artists, landing on PCD, who were looking for a hit to rebrand the group. Nicole recorded her vocals over the same instrumental, and the song was released in the version that we all know. Number 10. Jennifer Lopez, Limitless. Sia is the mastermind writer behind dozens of hits in the 21st century, and with a bit of luck, she may have another one with Jennifer Lopez's Limitless. The track is classic Sia fare, a slow beginning, a pounding powerful chorus, and endless harmonies. What makes it even more of a traditional Sia track is the overwhelming presence of her vocals all throughout the chorus of the song. We can't quite tell if Sia is singing the entire chorus, or if her voice is just layered heavily over J-Lo's own Sia impersonation, but either way, she definitely deserves some credit for having such a large hand in the song. Number 11. Jennifer Lopez, If You Had My Love. If You Had My Love was J-Lo's first ever single, and was the project that first launched her into mainstream success, after leading her role in Selena. But as with many of her songs to come later, the single was marred by controversy when it turned out that Jennifer had stolen the song from a smaller artist, R&B singer Shantae Moore. Moore recorded her own version of the song, If I Gave My Love, with producer Darkchild in 1998. But when J-Lo's producer Diddy heard it in the studio, he immediately requested it for J-Lo. When Darkchild insisted that the song was already taken by Moore, Diddy pressured him into writing an almost identical song for J-Lo, later causing Moore's plan to release If I Gave My Love as a single to fall apart.
I came out around the same time when her first album came out, and Rodney Jerkins actually came and wrote this wonderful song for me called If I Gave Love. And you know, the Jennifer Lopez song was If You Had My Love. He wrote the same song for her. I heard that it was because Puff Daddy walked in and heard my song and said, I want that song. And he was like, yeah, well, that's already taken. You know, we wrote that for Shantae and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yeah, I want that song. So Rodney wrote really the same song. Honestly, if you hear my song, it's the same song. Mine says, if you had my love and baby that gave me, if you had my trust, would you use it against me? Hers, I don't know. Can't even remember because it's so close, I can't even sing it right now. We should have been aggressive instead of backing off our single, because that was going to be my next single after Shantae's Got a Man. And we backed off of it because J-Lo had such a machine at the time. We should have just stepped out.
The whole situation is a little ironic given that J-Lo barely sings on the chorus of Love, handing over the duties to Jennifer Carr and Shania Harrell. If J-Lo was going to stoop so low, she could have at least tried to pretend that it was her voice on the track. You had my love and I gave you all my trust, would you comfort me? Incidents like these seem to happen very often in the music industry, more than anyone notices, even though it's very apparent and blasted in our ears every day. Although these artists have had help, or even more than help, with some barely even contributing to their own songs, it doesn't take away from the fact that majority of this music is still great, infectious music. It just takes things to the interesting side when you realize even if something is consumed in your everyday life, it can still be very much deceiving.